How you guys doing? Today's Friday, September 5th, 16th. 2 days away from NFL Sunday, so I want to start breaking down these games. Hold on, what is it? Alright, yeah, my mic is on right. I'm going to start breaking down these games for Sunday. Let me introduce myself. My name is Will from Brooklyn. I've been handicapping games for the last four years, and I'm just trying to put out my plays out there to get people to see that for the people that work 9 to 5s that can't study games and do the research, I'm doing the research, so I'm going to post up the plays that I know is going to win 100% sure. I'm not going to give you no if plays, no play. I'm going to tell you about those plays. I'm going to tell you what games the public are on, what games the majority of the people are playing, that we're going to stay away from those games. I'm posting up these videos to let people know you can be successful in sports gambling, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm not that I'm the most successful handicapper, but I'm going to give you the plays, and hopefully with your money management, however you do it, however financially stable you are, whatever's your situation, you're going to make it. You're going to make the money, and hopefully in the future, we keep making a lot of money playing sports. And this Sunday is going to be an easy Sunday. I have locks. When I'm talking about locks, I'm talking about locks for Sunday. The locks of the week for Sunday is going to be the Jets against Jacksonville. The Jets are going to destroy Jacksonville. Don't get fooled by the line being 9.5 points. The Jets are a much stronger team. I saw the whole game against Dallas, as we all did on Monday. Oh, not on Monday. Was it on Monday? No, it was on the night game. It was a televised game. Everybody across the nation saw it, and they're going to be scared that the Jets almost blew the whole game. But that was against the Dallas Cowboys with a great tight end in Witten. Everyone knows that they're going to struggle against teams with good, solid teams, and they had defense. They kept getting pressure on the Jets. This Jacksonville team is nothing compared to the Cowboys. The Jets are going to beat them by 9.5. If you could buy points wherever you are, don't even worry about buying points. Take them with the 9.5, or buy 1 point to make it 8.5, just in case they win by 9. Buy 1 point on that game. The Jets are going to run away with this. It's going to be a slaughter in New Jersey. It's going to be crazy that day. That's a lock. I got a lot to say about the game, but I got other games to do. There's a lot of games on Sunday. The next game I looked at is Seattle at Pittsburgh. We know Pittsburgh, the line is too inflated. It's 14 points. Even though they're going to win by a lot, it's not worth laying money down on Pittsburgh because the spread is 14, and Pittsburgh's a grinded-out football team that plays defense, runs the ball, and plays a slow-paced game. So you should never lay that many points on a team like Pittsburgh. Even though they're playing against the bums in Seattle, they should be able to punch them by more than 14, but it's not worth it as a gambler. The Jets, buying 1 point, it's worth it. They're going to crush Jacksonville. Pittsburgh, some people could say it's worth it. I won't lay down 2 touchdowns against any team, especially a team that is running the ball a lot of the times, the majority of the times. Baltimore at Tennessee next. Baltimore's going to crush Tennessee. Baltimore's too tough of a team. Tennessee has a new quarterback in Matt Hasselbeck. He's not going to be ready for Baltimore's complex defensive sets. They're going to be rushing him. They're going to be putting him under pressure. They couldn't even score against Jacksonville. They were struggling. Then he came at the end of the game and scored the touchdown, made it 14-16. But they are going to get crushed against Baltimore. A lot of people are going to be betting that game heavy on Baltimore. That's one of the games a lot of people are going to be playing. The public's going to be right on that game. The next game is Arizona at Washington. Washington has a new team. Their running back is looking great. I seen him the first game against the Giants. He was looking like a redefined man. Even though he used to do good for Arizona, he's doing great for Washington because the game revolves around the running game. He's seeing more touches. He's doing great. Arizona is not as physical as Washington, so the football is a game of physicality. I believe that Washington is going to win because they're more physical. They're at home. They're going to win the grinded-out game. Might be close, but Washington's going to pull it off. The next game on the schedule is Oakland at Buffalo. The line is a little bit confusing. I feel Oakland's the better team. They have Darren McFadden. He's going to be a Hall of Fame running back. He's great. You look at that man, you know he's a great running back. He's been playing at Buffalo. Buffalo's a new vamp team. They feel that they got a lot of energy, good energy being towards Buffalo this year because they just smacked Kansas City 41-7, and Fitzpatrick's looking good. Stevie Jones is looking good. Their defense is looking all right. But Oakland would take the crowd out of the game with that running game. They'll go into Buffalo and shut them down. They're a tougher team. Reggie Kelly at the nose tackle with Seymour. They're going to definitely get more pressure on Fitzpatrick this game. And they're going to It's going to be a good defensive game, but Oakland, I feel, should pull it up. But I'm just going to stay with. That's not a lock to me. The lock so far that I'm telling the public is the New York Jets. The rest of the games, you can bet on them, taking my point of view of how it's going to be. But some games are just unpredictable. Every game you can't predict. I feel the Jets are a lock. That's guaranteed. They're going to win. My second lock of the day is the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints minus 6.5. Buying 1 point. Make it 5. And even if you don't want to buy points. If you don't like buying points, buy 1 point for New Orleans. New Orleans is going to crush Chicago. Chicago Bears just lost Urlacher because of the death of his mom. We all sorry for that. Sorry to hear that. But New Orleans is going to crush Chicago. They're too fast. They're too fast of a football team. You look at their team, they're all fast. Chicago got a whole bunch of big brolic guys that are going to be too slow on defense, especially without Urlacher to catch up to the wide receivers and the whole game of the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is going to win big. This guy ain't going to do nothing for Chicago. This guy's a bum. The quarterback for Chicago, man. He always throws interceptions. He's always struggling. He doesn't have no confidence. He's a diabetic, even though he's been playing through it. It doesn't have nothing to do with it, but he's just not ready for New Orleans in New Orleans. He's not ready. They should have kept Orton. Orton was on my mind. They should have kept Orton, even though he's playing for Denver now. That's why Denver, let's go to that game next, Denver with Orton. The whole crowd was booing him last game, saying they wanted Tim Tebow. And Denver's looking very good. Their team is looking like a very fast team on offense and on defense. They're looking very fast, and I think they're going to crush Cincinnati. Cincinnati is going to lose by more than 3.5 points. Later points with Denver. Denver in Denver, in the Mile High Stadium, in 1,000 feet above sea level. They're going to crush Cincinnati. Next game we're going to move on to is Cleveland at Indianapolis. That's going to be a lot of games that gamblers that don't know a lot about football are going to be worried about. Indianapolis at home. Even though Peyton Manning is out, they always been on top of the standings all year. Don't worry about none of that. Peyton Hillis is going to run the game, run Indianapolis to the ground. He's a beast. He's on the cover of the new Madden game. He's going to crush Indianapolis. He's going to run right through them. He's going to take the crowd out the game. Cleveland's going to win big. Do not play Indianapolis with Kerry Collins. He's an old, washed-up quarterback. He was a quarterback for Tennessee last year, and they were doing nothing on offense. You got to take Cleveland laying the 1 point to crush Indianapolis. Another game that I'll stay away from, but is a good bet, but I'm not going to be laying a lot of money on, is Tampa Bay to beat Minnesota. Minnesota is weak on defense. They've always been known to have a weak passing defense, and with Josh Freeman and Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming into town, they're going to throw the ball so much and have a great game. Even the defense, if you've been watching the highlights and watching Tampa Bay, they have a great defense, physical defense. They're going to go into Minnesota and take that game. No way McNabb and his, even though McNabb is a pretty good quarterback, I like McNabb, but they're not going to be able to do it against Tampa Bay. There's too much pressure on them, and Tampa Bay is much the better team. After finishing 10-6 last year, they got a lot to prove after losing their first game. They're going to come into Minnesota with a vengeance. They're going to win. All right, the next game, I'm going to go down the line. We already all know Green Bay at Carolina. That's I don't even got to talk about that game. Green Bay is the obvious play, but with the points, I wouldn't lay that many points at Carolina with Cam Newton playing the way he's playing right now. He threw for 400 yards his first week. I would stay away from that game. A lock. This is a lock right here, ladies and gentlemen. Detroit at home against Kansas City. Kansas City has nothing for Detroit. Detroit has one of the best tight ends, Tony Scheffler, up-and-coming tight end. They're going to be feeding him the ball, Matthew Stafford. You already know about Calvin Johnson. Their offense is great, and they're up-and-coming, and they're at home in Detroit. They've been letting Detroit home fans down for a lot of years. Now it's time that they go in and start off the season on a good bang and start off the year 2-0. There's no way Kansas City, that lost 41-7 against Buffalo, is coming into Detroit and keeping that game close. Detroit's going to win big. I'll lay the 9 points, but if you like buying points and being a little bit smarter, just buy 3 points and make them win by 6, just in case at the end of the game you don't get jerked by any late touchdown or anything like that. Just take Detroit -6. Alright, we did Cincinnati at Denver. The next game is Dallas at San Francisco. That's another game I'll stay away from because San Francisco is going to have great defense at home. And Dallas, the way they gave up that game last week, I will not risk money on Dallas Cowboys. I'll just stay away from that game. Leave it away. We can't predict them all. Stay away from that game. The next game that I feel is a lock is the New England Patriots against San Diego Chargers. You have to lay the 6.5 points or buy 1.5 with San Diego. No, not with with New England. New England's a much better team. San Diego struggled last week with Minnesota. They got Tolbert, that big brolic fullback, receiving passes as a wideout, and he's doing most of the offense. We all know that when Darren Sproles was on the team, now he plays for New Orleans, he used to get all those touches. There was no such thing as Matt Tolbert. That guy is big, but he's too slow. New England's going to shut down San Diego. They're not really going to shut them down. That's what the over and under is 53.5, but they're not going to be able to stop New England and Tom Brady. He's Joe Montana. He's like a new version of Joe Montana we're watching right now. He's going to win. They're going to go 2-0. They're not going to lose to San Diego. And my last lock of the night is the 8 o'clock game, which the whole majority of the public is going to take Philadelphia. Don't be foolish. Don't be asleep. Atlanta buying 2 points, getting 3 is the play of the day. That's my lock of the day out of all the games. I know Atlanta is going to play very hard. Very hard. They're going to win. All we know about Philly is that they're a great team. They got Michael Vick. They got McCoy. They got Deshaun Jackson. But in reality, Atlanta at home with Tony Gonzalez raping those young linebackers of Philadelphia, Atlanta's going to run right through Philly. Run right through them. They at home. They just lost big against Chicago, so the public's going to be scared to take Atlanta, and that's the game that they should be hammering. Atlanta is the lock of the day, lock of the week. Mark my words on that one. This is your boy Will from Brooklyn. We're going to get this money. You're going to see me next week in the middle of the week posting up more football plays for next week. Follow my picks and you'll be successful. I'm telling you, we're going to make this money. I know about sports. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know about the games. I study this all I do. I dedicate my time to sports. I look at sports. I do my research. So take my word for it before you take another guy that just thinks he knows it all. When I'm putting in that work. I'm putting in that time. All right, have a good day, and best to y'all.